What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Mind, Body, and Pockets podcast, where we take lessons learned from people in the marching arts community to help you level up your life. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Paula. And on this podcast, we're going to get to know the individuals who make up the marching arts community. They'll share their experiences in and out of the activity and the mental, physical, and financial lessons they've learned along the way.
And this episode is all about the beginning, the inception, the podcast. Why are we doing this? And that's a pretty loaded question. So I guess that's why we're kind of taking the time to explain this, because if you're joining us anytime in the future, we are in the middle of the summer. It's July 4th tomorrow, or actually today, the day we're dropping it. And we just wanted to put out, like a positive message for people because there's a pandemic going on. There's a lot of marches and movements happening that are really impacting the community right now. And it's a crazy and weird time that we're in. And we wanted to really be able to not only connect with the community, but be able to connect the community with each other once again, because drum corps is a huge part of our lives.
Yeah, and this is the first time drum corps season has been canceled. We've dealt with the WGI season being canceled, and then DCI, and it's just, as they say, unprecedented times. So we thought, what better day than July 4th to go ahead and let everybody know what this project is and that it's coming and what it's about. July 4th to me is like one of the most special days in drum corps land.
For sure.
All the great memories. I'm sure you have awesome memories.
Oh, yeah. And some bad ones, too. Let's be real.
The 7 mile parades and whatnot. But, there's a lot of nostalgia, I think, around that date in the drum corps community. So I figured this would be a good time to let everybody know what we have going on.
Yeah, and this is something we've been thinking about for years, and we haven't actually had, the time and honestly the courage to actually go out and put this stuff out there, because we're pretty introverted people. We're outgoing and we can turn our teacher mindset on, but we'd rather be alone most of the time. I guess from a characteristic standpoint, we're just kind of docile. So it's been hard to actually put out the project, but I think the times that we're in really showed us that we have to push forward, we have to connect together, and we have to continue to put ourselves out there, because this community has built a character in us that couldn't have been done anywhere else. Without the music and the marching arts, we wouldn't ever have met each other or have been together for the years that we have, or learned the lessons through the challenges and the journey that we've been through, or be able to give it back to the community that we know and love so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, the marching arts community just means so much to us. Our closest friends in life have come from this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our formative years, just going through the activity and learning and growing as individuals and learning how to work together with other people, and just all those incredible life lessons that you pick up from marching and being in the activity and performing, but there's a whole other slew of things that you learn when you become a teacher. On that other side.
Yeah, we've done both. We've marched the 4th of July parade, and we also have taught it and been on the side giving the water out and, hanging out on the bus version of that. I've also remember being a member with you and limping our way through not having to go to the 4th of July parade because we actually used it as a rest day. I don't even have no idea if you remember that.
Yeah.
But there were times of that I think is more important to us than, the day-to-day journey that drum corps brings along, because it's about those memories and those random stories we can bring up to say that, hey, we were in this together as not only you and I, but as a full community out there.
Right.
And I think now's the time to let everyone know what our journeys have been, not only us, but within this podcast, because we're going to be doing so much of talking to the people that make up the community to see what else we can do to push the activity forward, to learn from lessons that we've learned, that they've learned, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, it's really important for us as, there's no drum corps this summer, but for us to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I think the coolest thing from the terrible news of there not being a season, you kind of saw the community start to come together and fight to put this content out. And, the awesome stuff that is happening with marching arts education, with DCI, and just, these webinars and all that, and just trying to keep moving forward as best we can in the situation
it's almost
that we were given.
A way to bridge the gap from the situation that we were given. Like we can't control the situation, but we can control how we contribute to it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of the times that we're in, the a little bit of the purpose behind the podcast, or at least what the podcast kind of is, and what the times mean to us right now, and let's not, I guess, let's talk about the elephant in the room too, the Black Lives Matter movement that's happening right now. There's a lot of interesting and a lot of thought-provoking things that are happening in our society that we are really having to pick apart and really understand what's going on, not only in our communities within the activity, but like within our local communities and our worlds. And we have been in an interracial relationship for many years, and we want to promote that, not only that we're in a interracial relationship, but the connection of people, the connection of the activity and the people within the activity, and how the marching arts have really helped us focus on our similarities more than our differences,
Yeah.
And it's never been a me or you or us or them thing, but the activity kind of helps us bridge a gap through relationships. It helps us build the bond with either it being sections that play the same instrument, or even just within the same organizations. It helps build a bond where you can see way past someone's outside appearance and look way into their internal lifestyle, what they bring to the table.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you. That was a lot of words, though.
Yeah, well, we got there, though. No. So just to dive in a little bit more to like what this is about. So the podcast is called Mind, Body, and Pockets. So we're going to discuss many different things about the marching arts activity, of course, but this is more so to bring to light the individual of the activity, to really dive into their stories and the life lessons that they've learned through drum corps or the performing arts, whatever path they've taken in life. We're going to kind of dive into their story and hope that their advice and, their missteps and their successes can help our listeners gain some knowledge and understand, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or, hey, I should learn from this lesson and try what they're recommending.
Yeah, and we've learned so much from these friends, and we've taught a lot of places, we've marched a lot of places, we've been the gap bridges for a lot of people, and we think it's extremely important to share the community with the community. And we've been on both sides of it as educators and as students, and I think there's so much merit to bring to everyone else just from this different journeys that people have walked, the paths that everyone has been on,
different
none of
perspectives.
There's a power in that.
Yeah.
There's a power in different people's perspectives, because once you gain that extra view, you continue to see something different, and the combination of that is what I think drum corps is. That person's view on drill with that person's view on music with that person's interpretation of how to bring that drill of music to life. It's an art that's almost unquantifiable. Wow, it's hard to put a number to that thing, which is why we think it's important to continue to bring value and knowledge throughout this summer with this podcast.
Yeah. And, we feel that you can learn a lot about life through other people's stories and just hearing about their journeys. It's just, I feel like it's kind of a gap right now in the content that's out there for our activity.
Yeah, a little bit. Not that anyone's doing anything incorrect,
right,
but everyone's filling a different void, and we really want this to highlight the individuals, not necessarily be about the organization, whether it be DCI or WGI, which are both organizations that we love, or BOA or any other type of organization around the world. But we want to make it more about the individuals that make up the organizations. So more about the people, not necessarily about the activity that we know and love. Not really about how to design a great show, which is super important,
right,
but how that person has use those lessons in their real world, whether they do this for a living or they, like us, we're marketers for a living. We work for an incredible company down here in South Florida, but we continually use those lessons on our day-to-day basis where we learned it in the activity while marching, while going through those ups and downs and lefts and rights. We've been able to take those lessons and apply it to our everyday lives. And this is our platform to be able to share not only ours, but the people that we know and love in the activity.
Absolutely.
What you can expect and how we're going to bring this to the table is we're going to be interviewing some incredible people. We actually just have the first few episodes in the books.
Yep.
Should we even announce that? Let's just say there's some fun, awesome people with a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge, and the difference in perspective is going to be super cool to see, because the way we've broken down these episodes, it's going to be a mind episode, meaning the mentality of what we've been going through, whether it be their mentality to get to where they've been, or the mentality they took through their journey, or mental health. We'll have some great episodes about that coming up as well, but also doing separate episodes about the body and how that correlates to not only the activity but to the everyday world, and some of the like gurus of the activity talking about their journey and their peaks and valleys and what they've been through that, but also the pocket side, which is almost a little bit slang version of us saying the financial side, the fiscal responsibility, not just how people have paid for drum corps, but how they use the lessons of how they played for drum corps, or making money within the activity, or even the things we wish we would have done back then, and how that can really shift the way we view our lives now.
It's a long list of those things we wish we would have done back then or known. Yeah.
And even with the episodes we recorded already, it's already just us taking notes and applying it to our lives. So why not share that with all of you?
Absolutely. And it's not always everything that we learned in the activity. You know, a lot of this stuff we learned as we were touring, you know, with Blast and other shows, and just kind of through life as well. So, you know, whether it be on the financial side, like how to build a great budget. You know, it's like a scary thing for some of us.
And we learned it way too late, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, you know, it's super important. And it doesn't matter if you're in high school now, or if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. You know, there's whatever level you're at or wherever you're at in life, there is another level to get to, right? So it's just about getting a little bit better in these areas. So we focus on the mind, the body, and the pockets, you know, making those three pillars stronger in your life. It's going to lead to more success overall.
Absolutely.
But it's just, you know, it's a way to share things that we've learned, and the people that we talk to, just things in general in life that we learn, because we want to help strengthen our community
Absolutely.
in whatever way that we can.
Yeah. And this is in no way to put ourselves on a pedestal, because we are literally learning every day and making mistakes every day as well. And I guess that's more incentive for us to actually do this, because we keep going back to our younger selves. And if there were podcasts, just the technology back then, what would we want to listen to or want to learn from, so that we can progress maybe even faster, or take a different shift, or have the courage to make a choice, to make a decision, because we've seen someone else almost give us a nice opening or a glimpse into what it could possibly be.
Right. And I think also, you know, at least for me, when I was younger, I wasn't necessarily in that mindset. You know, I knew what I wanted to do in terms of being a performer, you know, my musical journey and things like that. But there are other aspects of life that I was really living in the moment, and I wasn't thinking about things that I could do to better those areas.
Good.
You know? So would I listen to myself if I was giving my younger self advice? Hopefully. But, you know, I hope that's what we can do for others. Hopefully they see that we've had some success, and although we don't have everything figured out, you know, there are a lot of things that we understand now that we didn't then, that weren't on the radar.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really important to bring it to light.
Yeah, and share it. I agree. There's so much merit in what you just said, because we are almost providing something we just wish we had back then. And again, it's not to put the pedestal there, but it's almost a way for us to kick the pedestal aside and say, hey, we've been through it. We've been through a lot. We've learned a lot. We've changed a lot. And if we could go back to our 14-year-old selves and say, hey, listen
Right.
up, do this, or be more consistent, or here's something that might be coming up in your future that you're not thinking about that might turn on a light bulb that you need right now, or it might be just a better time to get adjusted to it a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of
Right.
how we're going to be building this program, how we're going to be putting this together. It's going to be weekly episodes, one about the mind, one about the body, one about the pockets, and pretty consistently on that route. And we're committed to this. We're committed to this to the end of the year at the very least. We're going to see what traction it gets. But this is really for us to give. We know that the seasons aren't here. We know that
Right.
WGI caught us off guard. DCI caught us off guard. We don't know what the future actually looks like, but we really believe that growth should continue to happen throughout the activity, whether it be on the actual field and going through those challenges and those journeys and those championships together and those small and big wins together, but also off the field. We should definitely be learning about the same things and continue to grow, whether it be through a podcast and the mental
Mm-hmm.
consumption of it all.
And that just, you brought up a great point, and it just kind of triggered something for me that, when you are marching and you're away for the summer and you're working your butt off, you are getting better every day, and that's the goal, just getting better, working harder, getting stronger, improving every aspect of your little world in your drum corps bubble, just
Absolutely.
making everything as great, as efficient as it can be. And then we go home, and then what happens? Sometimes you keep it going for like 2 weeks and you're feeling really good about yourself. And if you're out there and you continue this for the entire year, please let us know, because I would love to meet you.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do.
It's hard to be consistent with over time. We all seen, our older drum corps buddies, and we've seen both aspects of it. Some take the health conscious side. Some people don't. Some people take those mental lessons of waking up early and being able to adjust their schedules or almost make an itinerary for their lives, and some don't. And not saying either is right or wrong, but saying that here's some lessons from a lot of the people in the activity on what's working for them, what's not working for them, what they've tried, what they've failed at, what they've succeeded at, and why not give that back to the people that make up the community? Because if it can help us be stronger, I really think and truly believe that it can help our community grow and learn.
Right. Absolutely. And it's not about being crazy about getting, in shape, and you need to be working out for 2 hours a day and eating celery stalks and lettuce.
Yeah,
And,
that's not
it's about just, like I said, getting a little bit better, having a goal, and you don't have to rush to get there. You can be consistent. Small little changes, small little steps over time will add up. So it's just doing a little bit more to better yourself, making a little bit better choices in all three of those aspects. Like, if I don't meditate in the morning, I feel different.
Feel it later, yeah.
Yeah, I feel it later.
I see
not
it
a
later,
good way.
folks, yeah.
Yeah, easy. But really, you have those little things.
Yeah.
Reading, you do your 10 pages a day, right?
And some things I fail,
Yeah.
but it is that drop in the bucket, like you're saying, and seeing that bookmark move further and further, however long it takes.
Right. So it's just getting a little bit better, leveling up, as we
Level up your
like
life.
to say. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because it made me think of that picture of the drop going into the water and it's sending out waves, but it is that drop in the bucket. Every day is just a little bit more water to fill up that bucket. So, and that's drum corps, right? You're like, every day of spring training is just getting 1% better, 1% better. And every single day to the 90th day of the season, you're in the 90th something percentile. Hopefully you can get to that 100, but again, it's almost unquantifiable.
Yeah.
But daily, you're putting that percentage in. So by the end of the summer, you can be your best.
Right. And guess what? You usually wake up in the morning and don't want to do it.
Yep.
You don't want to get up. You don't get up in the morning, and some people, I think, were like, yeah, let's go all the time. And, but most of us were, I'm tired. Here we go again. I'm sore, but we have this goal.
Yeah.
We have this show tonight, so it's like finding those things that keep you going, even if it's just a small little goal.
Those small wins.
And celebrating the small wins.
Yeah, and that's another thing about drum corps, that it almost breeds that within itself, whether it be the hard days of spring training or the first weeks of tour like we are in right now. And, there's that small payoff of actually getting on the bus, packing up your stuff from that dorm room or that gym floor and getting out on the road and saying, all right, here we go. Here comes a new part of life, a new phase.
Yeah.
But every day you're still putting that dollar in the piggy bank. You're still putting that drop in the bucket. And this is a way for us to share how we put those drops in the bucket, how sometimes we fail on some of those days, and a ton of lessons from the great connections we've made through this wonderful activity that we'd love to share with you guys, and they would also love to share with you guys. And I will say the stuff we got coming up, it's already been pretty mind-blowing for us, and we've already been able to immediately apply these things because it's not just a journey through someone's life, which we will be going through so you can get to know the individuals of the activity, but it's also the lessons they've learned along the way, specifically about mentally, physically, and fiscally
That's a big word.
being more responsible, financially being more responsible and better, and still putting that penny in the piggy bank.
And the financial one, at least for me, but I feel like in our activity, it's something that is it needs to be talked about.
Yeah, a lot more.
It's a little taboo.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say.
But, I've made a lot of mistakes. And that living in the moment mentality of, I need to go see my friends. I'll just put on my credit card. Like just decisions that you make that maybe aren't the smartest because you're not thinking long term, because you want it now. You want everything now. So just talking about these things that people don't necessarily talk about.
Yeah, and it's not even shaming anyone that's swiping the credit card, because we're going to hear so many even strategies on that and how to use that, how to leverage that. But again, it is a bit taboo. No one really talks about these things, even the pay that happens within the activity, how to become a professional within the activity, how to use the lessons to become a professional outside of the activity, whether you're a band director or you do marketing like we do, you're a doctor, you're a dentist, physician of any sort. I think there's so many lessons that we can all gain through, even if you're looking for a job right now. We're about to learn those lessons as well. Want to start a business, have started a business and don't know how to continue to grow or how COVID has affected it. There's so many things that we're going to be talking about that I think is nothing but value. Even if you've learned what not to learn, there's some merit in that as well.
Absolutely. So let's talk about where everybody can find us, because I'm sure they're dying to know.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to stay current with the time, so even that might change. But right now, we're going to be on Instagram heavy. We're going to be on, we wrote it here, YouTube pretty big, because we're going to be doing video recordings of these podcasts. So if you're just listening, make sure you go over to YouTube, like, subscribe, share. We'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and
everywhere where podcasts are. Yeah. We will be. We're going to have our website, mindbodyandpockets.com, and on all those platforms you can find us at mindbodyandpockets.
Yeah, we're going to be doing Facebook groups because we want to connect the community to the community, start forums, start talking about what we're doing. We want to start mind groups, body groups, pocket groups, and just see what other lessons, share the memes, and help each other grow and put another drop in the bucket.
Yeah, that's really what it's about for us, is growing the community, but more so strengthening the community. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just really helping build each other up, because especially right now in these times, like people are going through a gambit of different situations right now. And there are others who can relate. And I think that's really important to, we have that bond being in this activity together. So if you can find some people who are in a similar situation to you, maybe find some accountability partners that can help, keep each other on track and things like that. Like, I think that's huge. And it doesn't matter, what color uniform you used to wear or whatever. We're all part of this community.
And this is our way to continue that bond, to continue to build it, to strengthen the community, like you were saying, because just because we're taking a year or a season or two off doesn't mean we can't be stronger come the next season. Because if everyone can just level up a little bit come next summer, come next winter, come next fall, what impact can that have in the designs and the not only in the design or the strength of the actual activity and how that grows, but in the actual world, in everyone's day-to-day life. I really think that there's a strength that we're gonna continue to build, like we continue to build in ourselves, and the lessons that we continue to learn throughout the year. I think there's gonna be another notch to this once we all return. Whether it be because we have to rethink what the activity is, or because we get to approach the activity with another better, more intuitive mindset than we did when we left it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys, so I guess that's it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. You know us, we don't do this ever.
Which is another reason why we're doing it.
Yeah.
We have a lot to share, I
Yeah.
think, and it's selfish
Yeah,
to hold on to
absolutely.
that.
It'd be a disservice to the activity if we just kept our mouths shut for a season, and if the wonderful people we're bringing on kept their mouths shut for a season, because they have so much knowledge to share, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Absolutely.
So, folks, make sure you like, subscribe, share. If you don't know, July 4th is a big day for us. It's my birthday's July 2nd, hers is July 5th, and the 4th has been like a big celebratory
Happy Fath
kind of day for us.
Yeah.
But also like a time where we really check in, because our anniversary is in December.
Right.
So that's we really have a 6-month check-in with each other of just like, all right, hey, where are we? What are we doing? What are our goals? What are our goals?
Yeah.
And are we at that halfway point right now? And if not, it's almost a great time for us to check in, like we will tomorrow, of what are we trying to accomplish right now? What drops are we trying to put in the bucket so that we can take those daily actions and daily steps and daily breaks to make sure that we actually feel fulfilled at the end of it?
Yeah, definitely. And, we'll dive into goal setting plenty over the course of this. But, this, as Eddie said, this is a great time of year. Everybody does it in January. Most people do, like, new year, new me. I'm going to get it. And then, 2 weeks later, it's like,
Yeah, same.
But,
we've done that too.
We've all done it. But the 6-month mark, the halfway point in the year, is a great time to kind of reevaluate things. And if you don't have goals that you've set, maybe sit down, and there's plenty of content out there, YouTube, podcasts, blog posts. There's, obviously stuff everywhere, books that you can pick up, and we'll be recommending a lot of that stuff over the course of this podcast journey. But, this is a great time to kind of check in and establish some goals or revamp some goals and see where you're at in December, and, take it from there and just kind of get in that habit. Because if we don't have those goals, we're just kind of stagnant. We're just kind of rolling through life.
And you don't know what a win is, you know, like we do in drum corps. We know that end of the day, what is that performance? What is the payoff at the end of it? And we're here. We're here to help you through that. We're here to guide. We're going to be doing this again at least to the end of the year, so we can check in together once again at the very end of this and say, where are we? What are we doing? What are our goals? And what's happening in the future? And how can we shift our perspective or learn from other perspectives so that we can get on the right railroad track to the future?
Right. Absolutely. It's all about learning and growing at the end of the day. And we're really passionate about that.
Absolutely.
And we're really passionate about the marching arts community, obviously, and the people in it. I think it's some of the best people in the world,
best friends,
a little biased, but really just wonderful people. And if we can even have just a small little thing to help, that's amazing.
Why not contribute?
Absolutely.
So do us a favor, guys, and if you know us, you know this is weird and hard for us too. So like, subscribe, share with a friend, bring somebody to the community, tag somebody in a video. We're going to be putting out a lot of clips of the people that are out there, helping even put their names out there and see what they're going through.
Right. And supporting the people that are in the activity still, and putting out this great content. So we have such good stuff coming up. So, we're just really excited to get this thing going. So we really, like Eddie said, this is not something we ever do ever. But we hope that you'll find some value in it. And we'll share and like and do all those things.
Yeah, and we're going to get better with you guys too. It's going to be great for us to see how this podcast grows or how we learn from it, even if it helps one listener. I think it's going to be worth our effort for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, guys, like, subscribe, share, and join the MVP Nation. Peace.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the Mind, Body, and Pockets podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode and that it brought you a lot of value.
Make sure you connect with us on Instagram because we'll be posting a bunch of video clips there and a bunch of extra content. We'll also have the full-length videos on YouTube, so be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
You can find us on both of those platforms at Mind, Body, and Pockets. And if you want to know more about our project, you can go to mindbodyandpockets.com.
Thanks everybody for spending time with us. We hope you have an incredible week and feel inspired to level up your life.